Hello everyone, thank you so much for joining me today for the 2013 competition overview for the Heineken USA PSA Challenge. My name is Nisha Steffen and I am a manager here at Effie Worldwide. I work primarily on the Collegiate Effie competition and Effie North America. This is our 4th annual PSA Challenge sponsored by Heineken USA, and we're very excited about the partnership and the competition. So let's get started. Today I'll give you an overview of the challenge and the entry requirements just to give you a basic understanding of what you need to enter. We'll have a more in-depth webinar around the actual entry form and answer any questions that you have in the upcoming weeks. To give you some background on Collegiate Effie and Effie Worldwide, Effie Worldwide's mission is to recognize, educate, and encourage effectiveness. Effie Worldwide has over 40 partner programs worldwide and 3 regional programs: the Euro Effies, the MENA Effies, and the North American competition. So the Effie Awards is owned by Effie Worldwide, and originally started in 1968. It was founded actually by the New York American Marketing Association. And originally the purpose of the awards was to recognize effectiveness in advertising. As of 2007, Effie became its own entity, which is now known as Effie Worldwide. The Effie Awards, of course, since 1968, had to evolve along with the industry because there are so many changes in the industry, and now Effie Awards, ideas that work. The actual tagline is awarding ideas that work. The Effie Awards program now recognizes effective marketing communications, so it's more than just advertising. The competition is open to all forms of consumer engagement, whether it be a full campaign or a targeted effort. It's an industry competition. Essentially, entrants are asked to present when submitting an entry or a case into the Effie Awards competition, to present the why behind the strategy and provide proof that the work achieved the results that they were hired to produce. So how did you, the entrant or the agency, successfully tackle the client's objectives? For the collegiate competition, the work doesn't run in the marketplace, so there are not actual sales results or those hard numbers. However, the why behind the strategy still needs to be addressed. And entrants must provide details on how they would measure the success of their effort. Essentially, Effie awards ideas that work. We know they work because they ran in the marketplace. Objectives were set, they were met or exceeded, and you can see this in the results. For collegiate, the collegiate competition, it's more about ideas that could work. And the client, whether it be Heineken or Mini USA, approves your theory, that the entrant's theory that this idea could work. So as an entrant, here's an idea that could work and here's why. And you use your research with the target and your testing to support that, to validate it. For the main competition, what I call the mother competition, results are sort of, as I said, it's the proof that it worked. However, Effie believes that results without context doesn't mean anything. So it's how the various elements come together of the strategy, how you bring the idea to life, your media choices. It's how that all comes together to produce the results. How did you make this happen to produce the results? What was the thought process and strategy behind it? How did you get there? So with collegiate, you're focusing on the context and touching on all of the elements to create a potentially effective marketing communication strategy for your client, in this case, the client being Heineken USA. So students are challenged with the collegiate competition challenges students to develop a strategic, creative, and effective solution to the client's marketing challenge. The competition model right now is it consists of two challenges: a a public service announcement challenge, which we're discussing today, and a brand marketing challenge. For this year's competition, you may participate in two client challenges. One, the PSA challenge is presented by Heineken USA. The important thing is you must be over 21 years of age to participate in this challenge, because Heineken is an alcohol brand, and there are strict rules about minors working on this initiative. So if you're not 21, unfortunately, if you were not 21 by January 1st of 2013, you are unable to participate. And the second challenge is the Mini USA Brand Challenge. For this challenge, you only need to be at least 18 years of age. So again, we're excited about our 4th annual PSA challenge and our partnership with Heineken USA. Now let me give you a bit of background on what the past challenges were and our winners. So in 2010, we had the inaugural challenge, and it was introduced in 2009, but the actual awards and submission dates were in 2010. So Heineken chose to highlight its Enjoy Heineken Responsibly philosophy to encourage responsible and legal alcohol consumption for those who choose to drink or be around those who drink. Messages were to include a creative response to avoid unwanted behaviors when planning to get together with friends in the on-premise environment. And the winners that year were Bernal University and Portland State University. 2011, it was a consumer engagement. We're using consumer engagement as a tool to promote safety. Heineken USA challenged students to create a consumer engagement campaign that would encourage Heineken consumers to learn, understand, and download and use the Taxi Magic app as an innovative option to avoid drinking and driving. So essentially, this was an app. Heineken partnered with this with Taxi Magic, and what the app did was it allowed you to call a cab from anywhere, or schedule a cab, from anywhere in advance. So students had to use this app as a tool to promote safe choices. Furman University took first place, and Iowa State University was runner-up. The Sustainability Challenge 2012. Participants were challenged to develop a marketing campaign that supports Heineken's global sustainability program, Brewing a Better Future, while highlighting the importance of sustainable bottle and package disposal. Essentially, the challenge was to encourage recycling of containers. And last year, the University of Oregon and Iowa State both came in first place, and each year the work just keeps getting better and better. There were some fantastic submissions each year, and particularly last year. And this year's challenge is to develop a creative, disruptive, edgy, big idea that positions the Heineken brand as the progressive, upscale leader in responsible consumption, promoting smart, safe choices and moderation. The target urban males between the ages of 25 to 34 who are highly engaged, have an eye for quality, and live for new experiences, relatable to all markets, including multicultural. So think about why this is a challenge. What are you trying to solve, and how are you going to solve it? Essentially, you want to promote safety, overconsumption prevention, and better choices. While approaching this challenge, it's important that you or your students think about what's going on in the marketplace category, so they should definitely research the category and what is happening with the brand and the brand's competitors. think about what the current brand perception is and why it would be difficult to position the Heineken brand this way. Or will it not be difficult? Is it something easy? And if so, why? What does the target believe or think of the issue that you're trying to solve? So you really want to, or your students really want to hone in on this particular audience. Eligibility. Students currently enrolled in an undergraduate program are eligible. You cannot be enrolled in a master's program. You can, however, enter one of the other challenge if you're enrolled in a master's program. All participants must be 21 years or older by January 1st, 2013, a legal resident living in the United States, or international students who have a valid student visa. We've received questions over, the last couple years from professors, from students. I'm an international student, or I have an international student in my class that wants to participate, or I don't want to leave them out of a group. Are they eligible? Yes, they are eligible to participate, provided they have a valid student visa, which they should if they're attending school in the U.S. Participants cannot be an employee or immediate family member living in the same household as an employee of Heineken USA, Effie Worldwide, any alcohol beverage retailer or wholesaler, Heineken USA's advertising promotion agency, past, present employee of a brand, marketing, and advertising agency. However, internships are allowed. Entry requirements. Another thing I want to say about the age requirement, we do verify age at the time of entry, so please be honest. We haven't encountered a problem before, but I just want to make sure you're made aware that we do verify the age. Entry requirements. All submissions must include a completed strategic brief and creative executions. There are creative requirements and there is an entry form. The entry form is 5 pages. You may submit your entry as part of a team of no more than 3 individuals, or you may submit your entry without a team. Entries must abide by Heineken USA's branding guidelines. Every student must sign a release and waiver of liability and complete an eligibility declaration form. The eligibility declaration form is essentially providing your contact information and saying, I certify that I am 21 years or older. The release and waiver of liability is sort of like a contract that is you signing over your creative materials, your entry to Effie Worldwide and Heineken USA. Research and testing. This is very important because you'll need to do this in order to do the work. So research and testing through focus groups, interviews, ethnographies are strongly encouraged. Sourcing is mandatory. So I've been asked, can we do focus groups? Yes, you can do focus groups, and you should do focus groups. You should also test your creative concepts. You should do surveys. You must include role tracking and reporting mechanisms. Back to the entry requirements, footnotes. We've been asked how should you source. Footnotes are preferred as it is less distracting for judges as they try to read through your entry, because the judges are going to review the entry as you submit it. Exploratory research will help students to be able to identify key insights for changing attitudes and behaviors with the target audience. This is why research is key. That's going to help you get that insight. Entry materials. So we have the entry kits. you don't submit this entry kit, this is what it looks like. Everything you need to know about entering is in this entry kit. The entry form, strategic brief, looks like this. You will not delete any of the questions contained in the entry form or instructions because the judges need that when they are reviewing your work. It's very important that you review the instructions under each question because there are they help to guide your answers. Entry contact and eligibility declaration form looks like this, and the entry kit has the release and waiver of liability form on the last page. Also, I believe we have the release and waiver uploaded as a separate PDF where you can just easily download it if you need it, should you need it. I advise everyone that plans to participate in the challenge to thoroughly review the entry kit. We've definitely expanded it since, over the past few years because we added, more tips. We've incorporated more tips into the actual kit itself, like what is the strategic communications challenge, big idea, just to sort of provide more information up front to students and professors. So let's get into the entry form and the requirements there and questions you're asked. Strategic brief requirements. The strategic brief must be limited to 5 pages or less. Now last year, originally in the first year it was 5 pages. We reduced it to 4 pages after all the feedback we received from judges saying that the entry form is too long. And the entry form is too long because they have to read every single entry form, and a lot of times it's very wordy. A lot of times entrants are very wordy when they don't need to be. So my recommendation from my experience at the judging events would be for participants to edit as much as possible. Have someone review your entry. How does it read? Does it make sense? Someone that's not even a part of your team, because the judge is not going to be part of your team. And when they read it, they look for it to tell a story. They pay attention to the writing, so you want to make sure you don't have typos and grammatical errors. You want to take the time to proof it, because then that becomes distracting and they're not focusing on what they need to focus on, your ideas. So strategic brief must be limited to 5 pages or less. I've been asked, could it be longer? The answer is no. I actually recommend it's less than 5 pages. We only bumped it back up to 5 pages because we added the communications touch points to the questions, and that is to just that was actually added to help students think a little more around the bring an idea to life section and the touch points that they want to use. What is the strategic communications challenge? Target audience insight. You'll be asked to identify your objectives. With the strategic communications challenge, you also want to think about what is the challenge, not just what Heineken is giving you, but why is this a challenge? Especially, why is it a challenge for Heineken? Again, think about what's going on in the category. This is where you provide context and setup. What is the issue or the opportunity for Heineken to take advantage of? With the insight, the target audience insight, you really have to find that customer barrier. What is it that you're trying to break? Judges have said about previous descriptions around the target, and the insight is that it's missing the humanity in the target. Judge wants to connect and know, who are they? Who are this group of people that you're talking about? What would connect them to the product or service? Is it a lifestyle insight? So really think about how Heineken factors into your challenge. The big idea. What is it and how did you arrive at it? So the big idea is there's confusion around this every year, but it's the core. It's described as the core idea that's going to drive your communication strategy. So that idea should be, it should travel through your entry. You should see that idea. You should see it in your media choices. You should see it in your creative choices. You know, it's all connected. From strategy, idea to execution is all connected. And the judges should be able to see that. And when they see that, that's usually the submissions that do better. Bring an idea to life. It's the creative work, your media and creative choices. They should tie into your idea and your objectives. How will you measure the success of your effort? Sources are required for data, claims, and facts, as I've mentioned. But really think about how are you going to know if this was or could be potentially effective if you don't have any way or didn't think of a way to measure it. Creative requirements. Every entrant is required to submit. Every submission has two pieces. There is the entry form, which is the written case study or type case study, strategic brief, and then there is the creative reel, which is essentially used to show the work. You can provide background on the creative reel in terms of setup, you know, to help explain your idea, but it should complement your written entry form. The purpose of the creative reel is to show the work. So you must feature at least 3 different digital and creative executions: internet advertising, mobile, SMS, MMS, display, banner ads, etc. 1 social media execution is required. Other creative executions are encouraged. There's no limit as long as it's impactful. So everything should be justified. You know, when you select these channels, when you make your media selections and your creative choices, it should all be connected to your idea. Your idea should be connected somehow to your insight. So it's all linked. And when the judges review your entry and they look at your work, they should be able to, it should follow, it should be very linear. Like they should be able to see how you got from point A to point B. And you want to inspire them. You want to, be creative. I know, like with the PSA, it seems that there's a fear at times, I think, there seems to be a restraint in how creative. Now, I say creative, I don't say reckless, because we have had entries in the past where students did not adhere to certain, where they were very off-brand. Not all students, because clearly we have winners, but some teams were off-brand. And it's important that you stay on brand, especially if you are working for that client. Because if you try to pitch something to a client, let's say Heineken in this instance, and it's off-brand, then you're not going to get hired. So that's one way to look at it. Okay, so other creative executions are encouraged, no limit, as long as it's impactful. Must follow responsibility, message, and copyright guidelines. This is on page 8 of the entry kit, and we'll get into a little more, I'll give you a little more detail and later on in the broadcast about the responsibility messages. Creative executions cannot be distributed publicly. This is the reason for DQ. If you need to test creative concepts, make a private Facebook page, YouTube page, whatever social channel you are working with. Just do not make it public. You are allowed to test on your focus groups, however. Only include authorized logos. We have supplied Heineken's, the logos that Heineken USA is authorizing you to use for this competition only, and they are on the website for you to download at fe.org/collegiate/PSA/2013. Materials must be properly formatted. Creative compilation reel, 4 minutes max. This is going to be an .mov file or MPEG file. Individual samples of work, print, web, direct. So these these individual samples should also be included on your creative reel as well, because the creative compilation reel should encompass all of your creative. Creative guidelines and assets. So the beer advertising and marketing code. This is something that Heineken is requiring students to review. It will only be helpful to you in creating your entry because it's going to help you stay on brand. Rules on responsible communications. Now these documents are what Heineken employees and agencies have to adhere to. So since you are working on a submission or entry, a marketing effort for Heineken, then you should also adhere to these codes and communications guidelines. Official logos, as I brought up earlier, and here they are, the Heineken trademark brand logo and the Enjoy Heineken Responsibly logo. There are more details about the use of these logos in the actual entry kit. I believe it's page 8. So the Beer Advertising and Marketing Code, the Beer Institute of Advertising and Marketing Code is a set of guidelines to help advertisers generate responsible advertising. And when I spoke of those, previous entrants, some of them being off-brand, they didn't adhere to some of these rules or these codes. And if Heineken sees this, then they're going to automatically DQ because they would never be able to use the work if it doesn't adhere to the codes. So brewers should adhere to standards of good taste applicable to all commercial advertising and consistent with medium or contest in which the advertising appears. Brewers strongly oppose abuse or inappropriate consumption of their products. Humor, parody, satire, and all other advertising themes and devices should be readily identifiable as such by reasonable adults of legal drinking age. Beer advertising should not claim to represent that individuals cannot obtain social, professional, educational, athletic, or financial success or status without beer consumption. Should not criticize competing beers, portray, encourage, or condone drunk driving. Rules on responsible commercial communication. The Rules on Responsible Commercial Communications is a manual designed to ensure that all Heineken's brand communications activities do not promote irresponsible alcohol use. Communication should portray as pleasurable, personal, and social experience. a source of enjoyment and relaxation, one aspect of a positive lifestyle, and it should be connected to celebratory events. Avoid imprecise terms such as young consumers, even when intended to refer to young adults above the legal purchasing age. Avoid content that may be especially attractive to minors, and avoid the use of sex as the main market and focus of ads for Heineken. So those are just a few points that were extracted. You should definitely review those materials. There are links also on the PSA downloads, entry materials downloads page. Another key one, especially since you have to, your target is also to include, you want your work to be relatable to the multicultural market. The use of stereotypes and humor related to age, disability, gender, race, nationality, religion, or sexual orientation should be strongly avoided. So again, it's very important to review, use the links, the resources that are provided to you on the downloads page, because it'll be very helpful to you. Another thing that I have encountered with past entries is that I've seen, situations where car accidents were shown as part of the, setup in the work. You definitely want to avoid that. That's definitely something that is off-brand. And that's what I meant when I said there's like a stigma with PSAs. It's not all PSAs, but I think some people get the wrong idea. By all means, please avoid anything like that. It doesn't even tie into this year's challenge, and it didn't exactly tie into the previous year's challenge, but it was submitted. So I just want to put up the red flag to say, please do not submit anything like that. So reasons for DQ: students not 21 years or older, failure to submit a signed eligibility declaration form or release and waiver of liability form. We'll definitely follow up with you. You won't be disqualified automatically if there's no signature or it's not dated. We will follow up and request these documents from you. We just ask that there is a quick turnaround with providing them. Data not sourced properly. Please source all data. Also, please provide primary research. Failure to adhere to Heineken USA's branding guidelines, the Beer Institute of Advertising and Marketing Code, copyright and responsibility message guidelines, strategic brief, incomplete, handwritten, small font, or more than 5 pages. Campaign reads as a brand campaign and not as a PSA. Public distribution of creative executions. And use of unauthorized Heineken USA logos. Judging. Entries are judged by experienced marketing and advertising professionals. So there is an assortment of disciplines represented on our juries. We'll have people with a background in media, creatives, digital peeps, senior level marketers and agency executives will review your work. They review the strategic brief, which is your entry form, and the creative reel. If you submit a print ad and it's on the creative reel and you upload it as a separate image, we print the print ad and distribute them to the judges so that they can get a closer look of the copy. You also have the option to mail in copy, actual print ads if you want to. Last year one of our winners did that, and we were pretty impressed because they actually submitted their their uh, their ad. It was nice. Judging is done anonymously and confidentially. Judges evaluate how effectively the campaign addresses each question in the strategic brief. As a jury, they discuss each case. So they score individually, but they do discuss your work together. The top scoring cases, we also have the judges flag entries that they think should be considered, flag entries that they consider finalist worthy. And because each judge uses the scoring scale differently, so it's just one way for us to tell if something's on the edge, if many judges felt like that particular submission should move on or be recommended to Heineken USA as a finalist. So top scoring entries are reviewed by the Heineken USA marketing and corporate relations teams, and then finalists are approved. So based on the scores, top scoring submissions from our judging events recommended to Heineken, and Heineken USA decides who the finalists are, the finalists being those that will be invited to present. Finalists will present to Heineken USA, to the Heineken USA marketing and corporate relations teams. Why enter? This is an opportunity to activate tools faculty and advisors have provided. It's real-world marketing experience working for a major brand. You receive feedback from industry professionals. Whether or not you're a finalist, you're going to get team feedback on your submission. The experience. This is a resume builder. This is a thinking exercise. It's definitely a great exercise, a great mental exercise, especially if you're going to if you're serious about moving into the industry. It's a possible internship opportunity, and there are cash prizes for the top winners. The resume, hands down, the resume builder is fantastic, but it also can't hurt to have a little cash. And it also can't hurt to have the opportunity to present to Heineken USA's corporate relations and marketing teams. But the cash prizes, I'll just go through them really quickly. From honorable mention, $500 per team, up to 3 awards. This is at the sole discretion of Heineken USA, so they make the decision as to whether or not they want to award honorable mentions. Runner-up team, $1,500. So if you enter alone, this $1,500 is yours. If you enter in a team of 3, everyone receives $500. First place team, $3,000. So let's look at our timeline. March 28th is the entry deadline. We anticipate our online entry system to be up and running before the end of February. So you should have access to it by March 1st. And we'll send out an email and ask you to definitely no later than March 1st, hopefully before March 1st. We will send out a notification so that you know when it is ready and you can go ahead and register. Registration is not required, but it does help us prepare for judging. April 2013, judging. We'll have 2 to 3 judging sessions. In the past, we've had judging in New York, Chicago, and Los Angeles. Last year, we had judging in New York and Los Angeles. This year, the judging locations are to be determined, but it's likely that it will be 1 session in New York and 1 session outside of New York. At the finalist presentations, that date is to be determined, but we hope to have it finalized soon and posted on our calendar at effie.org/collegiate/calendar. So it's going to be late April or early May. April is Alcohol Awareness Month, so it is very likely that it will take place during Alcohol Awareness Month. So we will keep you guys posted on what the final date is as soon as we have it confirmed. May 22nd is the Effie Awards Gala. So this is where we celebrate our Effie North America winners, and that will take place on May 22nd. We also recognize our Collegiate Effie winning schools at the gala for both challenges. How do you enter? Download all the entry materials at effie.org/collegiate/PSA/2013. You register in the online entry system, which is not ready yet, but it will be ready very soon, and we will send you out a notification to let you know. You enter your email address. That's how the registration works. And then you create a username and password, and you complete the required fields. When you actually get access to the online entry system, all you're doing is uploading materials. It's not in your filling out field. So there will be instructions to walk you through everything in the system. And if you have problems, you'll just let us know. But it's pretty straightforward. This year, we will be asking for team photos. And this is something that we'll use for our Facebook page to promote the competition. Perhaps we can recognize the team on the website, on the Collegiate Effie website, and things like that. So it'll be great to get a group shot. Entries, again, must be submitted by March 28th, 2013. So here are some additional tips. We have a document that we created that we will update for this year that is called Our Judges Insight, or Tips from the Pros, and it is essentially feedback from the judges when on these Collegiate Effie cases. So judges recommend that you tell, build, and frame the story. You answer questions clearly and concisely. Watch grammar and formatting, as I mentioned earlier. Thinking around the target and the challenges and objectives should follow a clear line. That's that linear thinking. Like, essentially, judges should see the connection. It's like, how do you get, as they're reading, they shouldn't think, how did they get that? It should be clear to them how you got from point A to point B. Cohesiveness in your submission is crucial. So there are times during judging that judges read it and they'll say, how many people can be on a team? Because as they're reading the answers to each question, they can tell that a different person is answering it. So you guys need to try to make it so that there's one voice. Let someone, everyone wear different hats. Let someone be the team captain, be responsible for going through and proofing it and making sure everything ties together. That's another reason why it's good to have someone else that's not a part of the group review the entry. Because if it doesn't make sense to them, or the questions still remain unanswered after they read it, then that allows you to think about where you need to provide explanation or cut down or bring everything together. Explain the challenge in the marketplace, not the challenge of this competition. That's something else that I said earlier. Please do not restate the challenge. Heineken wanted us to ... No, why is this a challenge for Heineken? Really work hard on articulating the specific problem or behavior, perception, attitude you are trying to address. Be aware of the competitive landscape. You definitely should be aware of the competitive landscape, and you should research the category. Strategically address the marketing challenge. Addressing the communications challenge is a key piece to defining the problem and judging the case. If you don't know what the challenge is or the problem is, how can you even take steps to solve it. Be clear and realistic about your objectives and always be sure to address results. That's what moves business forward. So this document will be updated and will incorporate feedback from last year, and it'll be posted on our tips section of the Collegiate Effie website. And in this section you'll be able to pull different resources like the webinar decks, the tips from the pros or the judge's insight, and things like that, FAQs. So additional tips. Definitely get focus groups going. That'll help you gain key insights and motivators for changing behavior. Test creative concepts on the target audience. Be sure creative executions remain true to individual core brand values. The Heineken brand equals passion for quality, respect for society, and the enjoyment of life. Use footnotes as opposed to citations, as it helps judges read cases more easily. There was a case that judges read where there was essentially no original thought. Every single sentence was cited. Every single one. Review past winning Effie cases. These links will be made available in the online entry area. Very soon, the Effie winning cases will not be available on Effie.org. So what we've done is we've downloaded these cases, and we will have them available to you for download once you register in the online entry system. And that will be very soon. Keep up to date on future webinars. We do have some webinars coming up really soon, February 26th and February 28th. I would advise you to visit the Collegiate Effie calendar, www.effie.org/collegiate/calendar. Connect with us via Facebook and Twitter. You will get daily tips and news if you like us on Facebook and if you are following us on Twitter. So I advise you to do that. Sign up for our email list at effie.org/collegiate/email list, and check out the Ideas That Worked webinar series at YouTube/Effie Worldwide. These are actual Effie winning cases from the mother competition, but you'll get to hear the contributors of the case, those that were credited, talk about it, the challenges, the ideas, and this can be you can learn a lot from it. So check that out. So here are some FAQs that we've received in the past, and again, we'll take the questions that you provide us with here today, and we'll post these on our website so that you have them. Do you have to pre-register before the deadline? Pre-registration is not required. However, we do encourage you to register once the online entry area is active. This will help us get your entries ready for judging. Can you enter the competition with a student from another university? Yes, you may enter the competition with a student from another university. Will the slides from the webinar be available? Yes, they will. They will be available online as a PDF and as a deck. Can we alter logos to make them fit with our campaign's theme? You cannot and should not alter the brand's logos. Can a class of students conduct one single focus group and each team analyze the results independently? You can do that, but it depends on the size of the focus group. How do we cite primary research? You can cite your primary research in footnotes. If you're referring to a focus group, you just put the size of the focus group, the date, and a description. So if it's New York University students, 25 to 28, or X number of males, X number of females, then that is what you will put. And you can do that as a footnote. Or you can incorporate it in the body of your answer. Does every person need to register online or just one of the team members? only one team member needs to register online, and that person will act as the entrant, the person that is responsible for submitting the information online. Do coordinate with this person to make sure that your name is spelled right and that the entry title actually matches the entry title on the PDF that you upload. Because provided your team wins and then you get recognized on the website or in the Effie Awards Journal, we want your title to be correct and we want every member of the team's name to be spelled right. So please coordinate with the person that is going to be responsible for uploading the materials online and entering the forms. So again, only one person needs to register online, but all team members will be credited in the online entry system. So one person is known as the entrant. That is the person that uploads the materials, that actually registers, but there's a tab where students can enter their team members. So you will be credited for your work. We just do not need 3 of the same entry in the system because then we'll count it too many times. Can we reach out to Heineken USA directly with questions? Please don't reach out to Heineken USA directly with questions. Please pass all your questions to Effie, Collegiate Effie. We'll get the answers for you, and then we will also share them with all of the entrants. So if you have questions, please email them to collegiate@effie.org, and we will be happy to answer them or get the answers from Heineken for you. What is the best way to contact Collegiate Effie? collegiate@effie.org. Best way to contact us. You can also give us a call. Our contact information is on the website if you wish to talk. And that is it for today. Thank you so much for joining us. And again, the decks from this webinar will be available on the website. We'll also post the PDF. The recording will be on our YouTube channel. Again, any questions, email collegiate@effie.org. We will be happy to answer them. If you're not on our email list, please sign up. If you're not following us on Twitter, please do so. You'll get information a lot faster via Twitter. If you haven't liked us on Facebook, please do so. Again, thank you so much, and we look forward to another great year and receiving your work. Very excited about this year's competition. Again, do not hesitate to reach out to us should you have any questions.